All right, so yesterday we put our survey on a Google form and then copy that to the shared document with the class. And today we're going to talk about how we can use spreadsheets to get that data together and organize it that way. So as we're going through this, we need to go and start by opening up your survey you created and then click at the responses tab. I'm not going to show this. I'm actually going to click over to my other screen and kind of walk you through like what it is we're doing. So um, here, and this is one that I created last year for the purpose of these type of notes. So this is not my color example, and y'all are going to be doing, we'll talk about a two-way table later on, but y'all will be actually, for y'all's project, be asking two types of survey questions. And so this is just for an example on once I have my survey, how can I export this to a spreadsheet? So if you look, go back and open your survey that you sent out. And if you click up here where it says response, at the top, we see all these different responses that we have, and then we see that I have 78 people fill this out, and then I want to click view in sheets. So if I click view in sheets, it's going to bring this up and create a new spreadsheet if it asks you that. It didn't ask me because I think I've already opened this. And then I'll walk you through how to do this using my example, but with your data. So we're going to start by creating a frequency table in Google Sheets. And I'm going to pretend that this column right here, just for the sake of it, this column for male and female, let's just pretend that that doesn't exist because I don't have just a normal frequency table example. So I'm going to create, for the purpose of this video, a frequency table with just the preferred snack type. So if I just ask you that one question and you were to answer. So the first thing I'm going to do is I also don't like, I don't know if I remember how to change this. Let me see. I'm going to select this to where it looks like that. It looks like my first row is already frozen, actually. I was going to have y'all freeze row one. But it looks like row one is already frozen anyway. If it's not, I'm going to freeze that and go up here to view, freeze, and then one row. And so row one is frozen. And so now what I want to do is once that's frozen, I'm going to start by creating my table. So somewhere in row one, a few columns over from our exported data, we want to merge three cells together because I'm going to build a table. And so I'm going to have a column that's my frequency and a column that's my relative frequency and a column that has my categories in it. So I'm going to start by doing maybe merging these together, clicking the merge button, and then just kind of formatting this to make it look nice. But what I'm going to put in this cell is I'm going to type my survey question that I asked. So my survey question was, what is your preferred snack? And so I'm going to format this, make this look nice, bold, maybe make that a little bit bigger. Center it, give that some color to it. Change the font if you want to, give it a nice border. And so this is going to be, let's do that. Yeah, that looks nice. So what is your preferred snack? Okay, and then so from here I'm going to make my table. So we already made one of these by hand. So what do we need? We need a our category at the top. So right here I can say like snack type or something. We also saw that we had a frequency column and a relative frequency column. So I'm going to have these. I'm going to go ahead and kind of format those as well. I won't make those quite as big. I will give those borders though. I have these. I'm going to auto align my column widths. I don't know why that very first one always jumps over that far, but it's kind of annoying. Just the first one does, like the first one you try to do. Okay, so here's my table, and then I'm going to fill this in. So let's see. I'm going to fill this in with my categories. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to type in what were my options that I had. I had salty, sweet, and healthy. I had those, and so these are my categories. Underneath this, I'm going to go ahead and put. No, I'm not going to. No, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Well, yeah, I'll do this for the. I'm going to go ahead and put this so I can get my relative frequencies. Now, on some stuff, like if you had, if you had 1,000, if you had a sample size of like 1,000, right? You wouldn't want to necessarily add these all up and count them like individually, like one, two. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then keep going on, so on and so forth. So we have a way that we can actually do this and let Google Sheets kind of count them for us. So and this is the way that it works. So I'll try to zoom in so y'all can kind of see a little bit easier. Okay, let's scroll over here. And I think that this may be in your notes, but I want to find out how many times the word salty appeared in this list without having to physically count them up. Now, if you have a very small, like 10 sample size or maybe even 30 and you don't mind counting them, that's fine. But let's just say that I continue this survey for the next 5 years I'm teaching, and I want to get a better idea about what people prefer, what type of snacks they prefer. Then the more I get, the more reliable my results are. So I want to continue to kind of add to this. So here's a way we can count up how many salties are showing up, but we do have to make sure that we are exact with how this appears. So I'm going to go and the command is called count. So you spell the word count and then if. So count if, and we're going to do parentheses. And I want to go over here and you can type out this word, but if I do something like this, so we're going to type in the range that we want. So I want to find anything in this range that I have, or maybe actually let's do anything in column C. So anything in column C. So if things add to it, that it'll automatically recalculate. So I'm going to do count if in column C. I'm looking for words in column C that are, and then I'm going to put the word in quotes. So this is kind of where like you need to be exact. So if I do something like this, SALTY, salty, and then it actually recognized that. I didn't think it did that. I've tried this before and it didn't actually do that. I was going to say it has to be exactly spelled, but I guess this recognized this, so I don't know. Let's see what happens if I add a space here. Okay, so I added a space there kind of without knowing, or maybe you add a space at the end. So I guess you can capitalize or uncapitalize, but either way. Let's try the same thing here. We're going to do equals count if, and we're going to select column C again, and we're going to do a comma, and then now it's asking if I want salty. No, I don't want salty. I want sweet this time. I'll do a lowercase again, see if it counts it. Yeah, okay, nice. And then from here, I'm going to do the same thing. Equals count if, select the range in column C, how many are healthy, and if you misspell the word, that should actually not count it. Okay, so, and then all in all, I want to have, and that was probably, once you get the hang of this, this is a lot quicker than actually physically counting them. And then I want to add these up. So I want, and my suggestion is the sum of those cells, and that's exactly what I want. Okay, so now I have this. I'm going to kind of format this. Let's do. I want these to be centered too. Just kind of doing some formatting. I'll make these have like little dashed borders. Like that. Now I've got to go back and do the bottom one here. It's annoying. And the top one here. Where's the top one? Oh, right there. I'm actually going to do the sides of these. So I'll do that bold, and I'll do this one bold. Like that. Okay, cool. So salty, sweet. I have 78 responses. If we go back to my snack type right over here, we should see that this says 78. So it should count those up. And then we talked about how to find the relative frequency. We're just looking at out of the whole, right? How many salties out of how many people filled out the survey. So we can simply click this. And actually, we might need to, I don't know if this is going to work. It should, but we'll see. Because I have another, yeah, that works. Okay, cool. And then we're going to do this divided by this cell. And then we'll do right here, this divided by this cell. And I'm going to format all of these as percentages. And we can just leave those like that. That's fine. Well, no, I don't like this like that. And then equals, and I do want to add those together. Okay, so here's my frequency table. Okay, so now we are going to, now that we have our frequency table out of the way, we're going to add a bar chart to represent this data. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to add like a couple more rows. For some reason, it only goes over to I. So I'm going to click right here and then insert column to the right. I'm going to do that a few times. Right click, insert column to the right, insert column to the right, give myself a little more room. And then I'm going to create a bar chart. I'm going to let that take up the same amount of, I don't know if I want to do that right there. I might just do it right underneath here. Yeah, I'll just put my bar chart right here. So underneath this. So instead of out here. So when we enter a bar chart, we want to have all of our categories show up along with the counts of each of those, because that's what a bar chart does. It gives you your frequency and as bars that are selected. So we're going to do two different types of charts, a bar chart and a pie chart. We'll do the bar chart first. So I don't want to highlight any totals or any of the relative frequencies. So any of this, all I want to do is I want to start from cell E2 and drag to cell F5. And once I have that, I'm going to go up to the top and I'm going to go to insert, go down to where it says chart. And I get a pie chart that automatically shows up. So I'm going to go over here to the side where it says this, and I'm going to click on this column chart right here. And now I have this. So I'm going to have you guys kind of explore around with some of the formatting stuff, but we have three different categories. So a couple things that I want to definitely see happen is I want you to have some colors on these bars, and I definitely want our title should not be frequency versus snack type. It should be something like, I mean, it could be a survey question. What is your preferred snack? And I need to change how this is spelled. Preferred. There we go. And so what you'll notice is when you double click anywhere on this graph, it pulls up this side little menu bar, and everywhere we click, it kind of brings you to a different area, and it brings up a little side menu that you can go through and change things. So for instance, if I double click here, it brings me to this chart and axes title. I probably should make that bold. I'm going to center this like so. I'll probably make that red again, something like that. If we click on this again, or we double click this and do edit chart, it brings up the menu again. And we can go through and you see all these under customize, you see all these things, all these options we have. We go down the list, chart style, we can make our background color something else. I don't want that, but that's kind of ugly. But like I can do something other than what I normally have. The chart border color I don't think really stands out that much. You can change your font if you want something to be like that or whatnot. And if you let's see what happens when you click some of these. So they change. You can see what happens with that. You can make it 3D if you want. However you want to do that. If we go down the list, the chart and axes title, it says, what is your preferred snack? You can have your font. You can do this and that. You can have that centered. You can change the color. We already did that. So you can either double click on those or just kind of go down the list. Series, I'm not even sure what that's talking about. Oh, that's the left axis, I think. Let's see what happens when what changes that. Oh, no, that's not what I want. Okay. Oh, this is my frequency. Okay. So under here, if I were to click on this, oops, let me get out of that real quick. If I were to double click here, and it brings up this series menu, if I were to go and change this color, like to red, all of them change, but I don't want them to all be the same color. Like I want to have some different colors there. So I'm going to go back and the way that we can kind of change each one of these individually is once this menu is open, if I double click again on the bar I want, if you notice there's a little rectangle around each one of these things, that means that anything I do is going to affect all of these bars. So if I only want one of these bars and change that, then after this is selected, I'm going to click on just this and notice these rectangles went away, and now this one is the only one that has a little rectangle around it. So now if I change this, I can change this to blue if I wanted to, and I can give that an outline color. I can make that thick like so, and then I can go back and do the same thing with this. So now I'm going to double click here. Now this is the only one that's selected. Let's say that I'll make that orange, and I'm going to make that line color also black and thick like that. And we'll, since this is healthy and green vegetables are kind of healthier, I'll make this one green, and same thing, black thickness like that. We can change the double clicking on this area brings up what I have highlighted over here. I can make those bold or not, change text color. Ooh, that's hard to read. And then we can do, let's see, what does that do? Oh, it just reverses the orders. Okay. Interesting. I've never clicked on that before. Okay, and then we can also change this if we want. Want to make those a different color, just double click or find it on the menu. And so now we have a bar chart to represent our frequency table. And we can do the same thing underneath this. I'm going to highlight the same exact thing, not relative frequencies and not totals. I'm going to highlight the same thing, and underneath I'm going to put insert chart. And this time I do want the pie. I do want the pie chart. So this gives you a breakdown of relative frequencies. Notice our percentages should match the ones that we have in our table close enough. I do, since we're looking at relative frequencies, I'm going to make these colors match. So I'm going to double click on this wedge. Actually, before I do that, what is your preferred snack? And so I'm going to go ahead, since I'm in this menu, I like to try to be consistent with the rest of my color scheme. Change the background of this. I think I did gray or something like that maybe. I don't know if that's the same color or not. But I'm going to make these colors match. So my salty was blue, but it's a different shade of blue. I'm going to double click this and select the blue that I chose before. My sweet was this red area. I'm going to make this orange. And this was green. And now this just like helps kind of visualize even more. Like when we have these together and they're all color coordinated, we can see it in terms of relative frequency or frequency. We can also go up here to chart style and do kind of what we did. We can maximize this. We can make this 3D if we want. We can choose to add the percentages or not. So I kind of like this. And then if I go down, if I go down, I can choose, like, you can do stuff like this, like put a little donut hole in there, how big you want that donut hole. You can choose to have the labels inside like this, or values inside like percentages. No, actually those are values. These are the percentages. Oh, I thought I paused this while I was sneezing. Sorry. It wasn't paused. So you can go through and kind of experiment with that, explore around through that. You can change, like click on this thing and see what other options that you have. Your legend, right? You can change the position. You can have those on the left or none, even. Like you can have something like that. So I'm going to leave mine like this. And now when we look at the whole thing with this, I have a nice little representation and organization of my actual, all of this data that was in this column is kind of right here. And I can break this down a little easier and be able to analyze it and maybe try to find some type of interpretation from my data that I collected. Okay. So I would, if you're watching this video, I would encourage you to make sure you get this done. And then when you finish, you need to bring me your computer so I can see your spreadsheet. This is a grade for you and your partner with your actual digital version. So the questions that you had yesterday, this is what you're doing. You're creating a frequency table, a relative and frequency table, and then a bar chart and a pie chart. And then once you bring that to me, I will put that in the grade book. I may not have time to get them all graded in one day, so you'll have like 1 day grace period on that, and then after that, it would be considered late. And that's all we have for today.